This is my second video from the Yorkshire Air Museum, located on the edge of the former Elvington airfield. Elvington was a bomber command airfield during World War II. It was closed for upgrades, reopening in 1942, after 3 concrete runways were laid on the original grass airfield. I towed my Jeep to the museum, with a car full of camping gear and display items. Fortunately, I got the tent set up, and the Jeep unloaded before any rain, which was predicted late afternoon. I had just started a photoshoot with my Jeep and the Halifax, when the thunderstorm arrived. I quickly fitted the canvas roof to the Jeep and hid in the hangar until the rain passed. It did, however, allow some nice pictures with reflections. I got some pictures with the Dakota too, before taking my Jeep back to my camping spot. During the early evening, I went for a walk around the external exhibits at the museum. By this time, all the buildings had been locked up for the evening. I started at the aircraft park nearest the old airfield, where the Handley Page Victor and Nimrod were parked up, along with several smaller aircraft. 2 of those smaller aircraft were a French Mirage fighter, and a Canadian T-33. Walking back past the T-2 hangar, I passed a Fordson fire tender, which I haven't seen before at the museum. Slightly further along this road, was a Gloucester Meteor. Opposite the Meteor was a Jet Provost. Then a Fairey Gannet. And finally an English Electric Lightning. Further down the road and around to the right, brings you to the far end of the T2 hangar, where several more aircraft are parked. The first of these is an English Electric Canberra. Nearby is a Hawker Hunter. Behind the Hunter is a Pan Avia Tornado GR1. Just behind the Tornado is a Gloucester Javelin, FAW9. Opposite the Javelin, is another Tornado, this time, a GR4 version. Heading back through the car park, there's a Chieftain tank. Its reflection is caught in one of the many puddles left by the thunderstorm. Continuing my circular tour, brought me back towards the main gate, where the War Memorial is located. Walking back between the main buildings, brought me back to the NAFI T-van, and Halifax bomber. By this time, the sun was getting low in the sky. I waited for the sun to set, before trying some dusk pictures, firstly with the Dakota, and then with the Halifax. As the sky grew darker, the full moon began to rise, and I got a picture as it rose over the Dakota. While the hangar was in the way somewhat, I also got the bomber's moon, rising over the Halifax. I spent most of Saturday watching over my display, and didn't get a chance to look around until the end of the afternoon. This is a circular tour around the displays, starting with the Jeep belonging to Woolman's GIs, which was parked just opposite to my display. Following the road past the control tower, next up was a Jeep belonging to Bob, a friend from County Durham. Further along was a display of weapons, and a display representing B Company, of the 326th Medical Unit. Around the corner, was a display representing the British Expeditionary Force, which included a Bedford MW truck. Just beyond the BEF display, were 3 more Jeeps, 2 of which carried Royal Air Force markings. Opposite the BEF display was one from the Royal Navy Bomb Disposal Unit. They gave demonstrations of disarming a German parachute mine. To the left of the Royal Navy display was the NAFI T-wagon, serving tea and snacks to the re-enactors and public. Between the admissions building and the gunnery display, were the vehicles belonging to the troubleshooters group. These included a GMC workshop truck, a Dodge ambulance, Jeep and Chevrolet. There were a number of classic cars on display on Saturday, but I missed most of them. I didn't see them on Sunday, just this one. First thing on Sunday morning, I went for a look around the hangars. The SE-5A was the first aircraft inside the main hangar. Next to that was the Messerschmitt Bf-109 replica. There was a large empty space where the Halifax is normally parked, but this gave a good view of the 3 Blackburn Buccaneers. The first is in Royal Air Force low-level, wrap-around camouflage. Next is XX901, a Gulf War S2B version, in desert sand camouflage. Lastly is XN974, an S2 variant, wearing its original Royal Navy color scheme. Beside the Buccaneers, is a Hawker Harrier GR3. XV748 was built as a GR1, but later converted to a GR3. At the end of the hangar is a very busy area. with a de Havilland Vampire to the front, and the Gloucester Meteor undergoing restoration behind it. A Blackburn Mercury monoplane hangs above. Just opposite to the Vampire, is a Westland Sikorsky Dragonfly helicopter. From there, I moved on to the Handley Page workshop, where an Avro Anson is on display, along with a flying flea. Also in this workshop, in a dismantled state, is the Hawker Hurricane replica. This was outdoors on display the last time I visited. Alongside the Hurricane is the Avro 504K, built to full flying standard by apprentices at Royal Air Force Halton. Not far away is the Gunnery Display Hall, where uniforms, flying clothing and 4 gun turrets are on show. Beside the control tower, another original building is set up to represent a French Air Force officer's mess. I spent most of the rest of Sunday with my Jeep and photographic display, chatting to the public about photo reconnaissance. I also demonstrated my aircrew camera, and showed people the 3D target photo, through the stereoscope viewer. Just opposite to my display is the original wartime control tower. After many years of public display, it was needing some repair and conservation work. It is currently surrounded by scaffolding and the exterior render has been removed to allow the work to be done. Late on Sunday afternoon, I packed up my display and took my Ford Jeep back over to the Halifax, for a few more pictures with the sun out. An Austin Standard Tilly owner had the same thought. While over there, I grabbed a photo of the NAFI wagon guys, at the end of a hard weekend of tea making. I got a few more pictures of the Jeep and Halifax together, making the most of the photo opportunity while I could. After that, it was back to the tent to load everything into the car, then load the Jeep onto the trailer for the trip home. A tiring but very enjoyable weekend. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. Thank you.